Good Shabbos, everyone. It's so nice to see you all here this evening. I'm Cindy Jensen, and I'm the Vice President of Social Action for CNT. After services this evening, Rabbi Axelrod will be leading a discussion revisiting the Tree of Life synagogue shooting. The discussion will be held in the back of the social hall. If any of you have attended these types of discussions, they're fantastic. You're really going to learn a lot and be able to express your views as well. We have a lot of save the dates, a lot of things coming up the next 3 weeks, something for everyone. So we saved the date for our Back to Shul Shabbat on Friday, August 11th. Then on our Greatest Hits Shabbat is on Friday, August 18th. And this is the big one, everyone. The Social Action Shabbat. Carol, the Social Action Shabbat, thank you. It's the first one we've had. So the Social Action Shabbat in the round will be on Friday, August 25th. CNT members are encouraged to bring your friends, family, and prospective members to these 3 special Shabbats to help enlarge our CNT family and to showcase CNT as a special place to belong. We will be adding yahrzeit engravings to our Rows of Remembrance in CNT's King David Memorial Garden during the first week of September. If you haven't seen it already, go out the doors, it's right over there. It's absolutely beautiful and a wonderful way to remember your family or loved ones. To ensure your loved one's name is etched in stone, please contact Roberta Unger at the Temple office. The deadline to order is Tuesday, August 15th. The CNT's next seniors program is on Monday the 21st at 12 noon. To register for the disco dance party, please go to the website and the calendar. And this is a wonderful thing coming up. CNT is going to Argentina in 2024. We went to, where did we go? Oh, Cuba a few years ago, and that was a fantastic experience. But anyway, so Rabbi Axelrod and Cantor Hutchings will lead the trip of a lifetime. If you want to learn more, go to the website or calendar and sign up to join a free informational Zoom call that will be held on Tuesday, August 22nd. And we had the Golda viewing. That has been sold out for us. However, if you still, the sneak preview of Golda, and ours is sold out. However, if you go to Jewish Nevada, they have a few tickets left there if you want to go. CNT Sisterhoods preparing oven-ready challah for Shabbat on Thursday the 24th at 6. Local craft vendors are needed for Sisterhoods Hanukkah and Holiday Bazaar on the Sunday, November 5th, so please email Sisterhood if you want to participate. And CNT Sisterhoods Mark Fine and Family Gift Shop is open Fridays, 45 minutes before services or by appointment. At the gift shop, you can buy Rabbi Axelrod's new book, Love in the Time of Corona. The proceeds go to Congregation Here to Meet, and I think Rabbi's will sign it for you as well. So, Shabbat Shalom.
All right, good Shabbos, everyone. Now, we know we have a lot of announcements, so we're going to have to do our quiz to see if you were paying attention. All right, the first name of the person reading the announcements is Sandy, Cindy, or Candy? Cindy, is that right, Cindy? Very good. She is chair of membership, social action, or president of the congregation. Social action, they got that right. And there is Beatles Shabbat, Greatest Hits Shabbat, or Jerry Garcia Shabbat. Which one is coming up? And what's the date?
18th, Shabbos.
Is that right?
Yeah, the 18th at 6:15.
Oh, 6:15. They would have all missed it, right? 6:15.
And 2 new additions to the outline so far. There is a song for the Swifties, and there is not the 60s, the Swifties, you know who you are. And there's a song from Journey. So we've added some greatest hits to this year's edition.
All right. And last reminder, right after services There really is a delicious oneg. I don't think I'm going to my own discussion. But you all have to go. So grab the donut or the pastry or whatever, and then about 10 minutes, those of you who want to hop onto the other side of the social hall, lot to discuss as we revisit the tree of life and the Jewish point of view of the death penalty and what are our feelings about security and all that good stuff. So in your mind, mentally, make sure you want to plan on staying. And we have a guest. Yeah, what?
I would say we should do another quiz. Do you know who the rabbi and cantor are? Because we've been playing switcheroo for like 5 months about like, tonight who you're going to get on the bima. Tonight who you're going to get on the bima. So I just want to give a big shout out to everyone who either filled in for me or for the rabbi during this summer month's time, and also for giving of their gifts and their talent to the bima and being lay leaders. We are really grateful for that. We all need rejuvenation, and that includes your clergy. So it's good to have Shabbat at home sometime or have a Shabbat in a different place. And so we're really grateful to everyone who pitches in. We are very lucky in this congregation.
Well, speaking of being very lucky and people who come to our aid, look to your right.
Yes, we have Barbara tonight.
And introduce Barbara once again.
Because even Eddie needs vacation as well, and yes, rejuvenation. So Barbara Siegel is our accompanist tonight. Barbara is incredible. She has been doing this for 40 years, maybe? 40, is that about right? And I had the pleasure of meeting her when I was at my student pulpit in Redondo Beach. She was at a neighboring synagogue for their cantor playing for many years.
All right. So let's take it away, Barbara. Our opening song is...
The Whole World is a Narrow Bridge, Gesher Tsar Meo.
All right.
Yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai. Haolam kulo gesher tsar meod, gesher tsar meod, gesher tsar meod. Kol haolam kulo gesher tsar meod, gesher tsar meod. But a narrow bridge. The most important thing is not to be afraid, not to be afraid. We'd like to invite to the Bima Kelly, Etta, and Mimi Baumgartner for lighting the Shabbat candles this evening in honor of a very special simcha in their life. And we're going to be reading from page 120 and 121 for our candle blessings.
Let's join together on 121. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, together So may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
I love it when they find out they can't blow it out. I have to keep it really far up on a shelf because Emmett's like,
Happy birthday, Shabbat. 124, we join together at the bottom. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. We turn to page 138 for Lachadodi.
we'll be doing verses 1, 5, and 9. On verse 9, we'll rise and face the door to greet the Shabbat bride. Yalla lecha dodi, yalla likrat kala, yalla penei Shabbat nekabe, yalla lecha dodi, yalla likrat kala, yalla penei Shabbat Shamor v'zachor b'diburecha Hishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad Ushmo echad L'shemo tiferet v'litila Yalai Yalala lechadri Yalala likrat kala Yalala penei Shabbat nekabela Hit'oreri Kiva orech Kumi Uri Shir daberi Kevod Adonai Alayich nigla Yalai Yalala lechadodi Yalala likrat kala Yalala penei Shabbat nekabela We rise to greet the Shabbat bride Boi v'shalom Aterit bala Gam besimcha ub'tohora Toch emuneh segula boi chala boi chala ya la la ya la 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 khadudi ya la 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 likrat kala ya la 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 pene Shabbat nekabe ya la 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 khadudi ya la 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 likrat kala ya la 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 pene Shabbat nekabe la.
You remain standing for the Baruch Hu.
Page 146. Ya la 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 ya la la la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 ya 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 la la la.
Please be seated. As the days go by, it never seems like we're centered in one world. We turn on the news and it draws us into all these kinds of challenges and things that rack our mind and pull at our heart. Then we get a phone call from someone. Hopefully it's good news. A baby is born, someone's engaged. We're pulled from sadness to sanctity, from faithlessness to faith, from hate to love. And all of these feelings can occur within the span of a day, a week, sometimes a minute, depending upon what happens when that phone rings. Jewish holidays tend to reflect different feelings, not only in our history, but the emotions that characterize what it means to be human. A few weeks ago, we observed a holiday called Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av. And if you recall, that is that day in which in the Jewish calendar we remember so many terrible things. The destruction of both temples, the exile from Spain, and the list goes on if you were to look at the Jewish calendar. But then a few days later, 6 days later, there's what's called a relatively minor holiday, Tu B'Av. It comes 6 days later, and it is the Jewish holiday of love. So here we go from lamentation to love. I think it reflects the human experience in many ways. There are times when we think we'll never find love, and we're down in the dumps, and then love finds us. There are times when we think the world is just too sad, and yet there are people who have children, there are people who get married, there are people who find new jobs, and they understand that the world doesn't stand still, and therefore neither shall we. So a little bit about this holiday, Tu B'Av. It's actually a holiday I didn't even know about growing up. And I understand that in Jewish summer camps they make a deal, but not when I went to Jewish summer camp. But according to tradition, young Jewish women would dress in white garments adorned with festive crowns of flowers and dance in the vineyards, signifying that they were ready to get married. I don't think we do that anymore, do we? Well, it's still a good holiday, right? The Jewish equivalent, in a sense, to Valentine's Day without the saint, to commemorate the fact that love is very much a part of us and should be very much a part of our lives. So we'll rest with that thought right now, and then in a moment, I'll bring back another little thought about the meaning of love in Jewish tradition. So for now, let us rise for the Shema and the Ve'ahavta. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. Please be seated.
As we transition to the Ve'ahavta, we remember that this is our section of our service that is about love itself. It is a love sandwich between two prayers about love. The first, Ahavat Olam, and now Ve'ahavta, and you shall love. Page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha Vishinantam levanecha vidibarta bam beshivtecha bevetecha uvlechtecha vaderech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha vehayu letotafot beinenecha Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet.
One of the core commandments of Judaism is to love your neighbor as yourself, Leviticus 19, verse 18. And this commandment stands at the center of the central book in the Torah. Talmudic sages Hillel and Akiva indicated that this is the central commandment of the Torah, love. The commandment emboldens individuals to treat each other as equals, which requires first valuing oneself in order to be able to mirror that love onto others. Love your neighbor as yourself requires a sense of having oneself. I say, like attracts like, water seeks its own level. If your sense of self-respect is not there when you look in the mirror, then that's what you attract, the wrong person into your life. If you are a person who looks at the world with dark glasses and sees the worst, then you attract people who see the world in similar fashion. And therefore, the rabbis taught us to love our neighbors as ourselves, meaning that we need to learn to love ourselves. And in so doing, it makes us hopefully more lovable, but it also allows us to go outside ourselves and to be kind and gentle and good to others. We talk often about romantic love, right, for Tu B'Av. But there's another type of love, and that is the love of our fellow human beings, those people who put themselves online in order to save other people, those heroes we think of as firefighters and policemen and others who are on the front line. They show an extreme love of humanity that goes beyond the self. So I take you to our prayer, Mi Chamocha. Use your imagination. 1 million Israelites fleeing for their life, and standing on one side are the Egyptian army. And in front of them is what? The Red Sea. And they don't know what to do. They are paralyzed. But there was one man, Nachshon, who decided to take that step of faith and of love that saved the entire Jewish people because he was willing to step forward into that water. Step by step by step, he went into that water as a statement of faith, as a statement of love of God and love of his people. And the Midrash says that when finally the water got to his nose, that is when the Red Sea parted and everyone followed Nachshon. They made their way into freedom. Mi Chamocha.
Page 158. To the tune of a very popular way to walk down the aisle at a wedding. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. As we transition to our Hashkivenu prayer on page 161, I share this reflection that I wrote on Tu B'Av just a few days ago. It's my favorite Jewish holiday. I know I always say it's Hanukkah, but it's this other minor holiday, Tu B'Av, the 15th of the month of Av, the center of the month of love. Because really, what is better than love after all? When we watch children play and dance, it is a reminder that we were once this simple. We were just love. Without complication, we experienced the world with wonder and filled the universe with innocent love. When we fall in love with our besheret, our meant to be, that childlike innocence reappears. The weight of the world lifts, and we feel that warm, loving purpose. Even if we are feeling unloved, unlovable, or unwilling to love, Tu B'Av is a reminder that the nostalgic, euphoric dopamine reaction that signals the beginning of uninhibited love still exists in us. Let's go seek it out. Let's tell a loved one who needs to hear it, I love you. Let's look in the mirror and tell ourselves, I love you. face someone you once loved but had a falling out and say, I still have love for you. Let's share love, spread love, be love. Let there be love. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkiveinu Leshalom, Ve'ha'amideinu Shomereinu Lechaim, Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha, Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkiveinu Leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Page 164, we rise for our Amidah prayers. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Kornei HaKol, v'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, u'mevii geula livnei v'neihem, leman shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshiach u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, magen, Ezra, Sarah, atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei hakol, atah rav le'hoshia, morid hatal, mechakel chayim bechesed, mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim verafei cholim, u'matir asurim, u'mekayem emunato, lishenei afar, michamacha b'givurot, u'midome kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kadoshim b'chol yom ya'alucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. We continue in silent prayer through page 180, using the words on the right or the left side of the page or the words within your heart. When you have completed your prayers, please be seated. Watching us on the live stream, please submit the names of those you are thinking of for healing prayers at this time in the YouTube or Facebook chat.
So as we turn to our Misha Barak prayer, we think of those in our circle of family and friends who are in need of our prayers, those who struggle with matters of the heart, of the mind, addiction too. We think of those who are caregivers who give of themselves tirelessly so that their loved ones might not feel alone, but they'll feel supported and cared for in their time of need. So I think of these people first, the names that were submitted to our office, and then I'll turn to the congregation. I think of Emma Lebeau, Sherry Jones, Alyssa Polis, Kim Botwin, Donna Zale, Sandy Block, Dr. Steve Ports, Jerry Rabin, Lori Fletcher, Stephen, and Didi Moya. I think of my sister Dina, and also my sister Audrey. And now I turn to you. If you'd like to say the name of someone special to you for a prayer of healing, as I look your way, simply say the names. Don't wait for me. Just simply say the names.
Hetty Gordon, Kim Rodriguez, Ray Singer, Vincent Rodriguez, Steve Grau, Faye Cohen. If it is your custom, or if you would like to, feel comfortable doing so, please put your arm around the person next to you. You can stand up if you want. Page 371, our healing prayer. Mi shebeirach avoteinu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi shebeirach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
So following services, a little bit into the Oneg, we'll have our discussion on the Tree of Life, shooting massacre revisited some 5 years later. So that is our serious subject for tonight, but I thought, well, for those of you who prefer Shabbat to be a little bit on the lighter end, I'm sharing with you a second story from this brand new book, Candle, Feather, Wooden Spoon by colleague Rabbi Zoe Klein. These are a modern collection of Jewish stories that I commend to you. They are inspirational. Sometimes they're a retelling of an old story, and sometimes they're a continuation of an older story, and sometimes they're just totally brand new. So here's one called Time Palace. And those of you who have read a little Heschel know that Heschel was the one who talked about Shabbat being a palace in time. There once was a legion of angels called the Castleites. Their empire was built on the altostratus altitude range of the sky. Now and then you still may see fragments of their abandoned kingdom, enormous cloud structures skating 10,000 feet over the earth. The Castleites absorbed energy from moonbeams and quenched their thirst on sea mist. As the sunflower's face follows the path of the sun, the Castleites were aligned with the moon, and the tides were aligned with the moon and the tides, and felt strongest when the moon was full. They were sparkly as an updraft of fresh powdered snow. When the moon was nothing but the faintest silver sliver, the Castleites shrunk until they hardly amounted to a wisp of steam off a cup of tea. More than anything, the Castleites loved to collect time. Every moment that was wasted on earth drifted upward into their realm, and they would rush to catch it in their crystalline nets. And when a Castlight caught a moment, they rushed it to their sanctum and wrapped it in a swath of feather-soft tropical breeze, bound by star rays. Every week, the Castleites would unwrap their treasures, polish them to a mirror shine, and admire them. Time was so beautiful. Each moment was luminous and multifaceted, reflecting the infinite heavens and the vivid, vibrant earth in one compact kaleidoscopic prism. Yet people seemed to have little idea how precious time was. They spent it meaninglessly. They spent it arguing when they could be caring for each other. They spent it complaining when they could be making positive change. They spent it feeling sorry for themselves instead of appreciating their lot. They spent it counting other people's mistakes instead of counting their own blessings. The Caslites reveled in the people's dawdling and delaying. People were so careless. Sometimes they even lost time. They lost it idling in stupors. They lost it distracting themselves with loud things and fast things. They lost it in hemming and hawing and yawning away nature's beauty by laying around their domiciles, doing nothing. The Jewish people, however, did honor the sanctity of time. They studied and recorded it. They tracked the phases of the moon and had great ceremonies when a new moon appeared in the sky. They counted the days between their spring festival and their harvest festival. They had long debates about when evening ends and when day begins. They marked the rainy season and the season of dew. They marked the blossoming of the almond tree. They woke with a prayer on their lips and went to bed with a prayer on their lips. Despite the efforts of this one tribe, the Caslites were ecstatic about how much time they were amassing. Their sanctums were stuffed with time. Seconds were pale little chips. Minutes were petal pink. Hours had silver linings. Days were gold-dusted. Weeks were tinted azure. Months were a whole armful of clear cobalt. An unbroken, wasted year was a wonder to behold. A whole decade shimmered like the sea. One Caslite spent over 100 years constructing a crystalline net as wide as Madagascar. It filled the sky like a giant spider web. The Caslite positioned the net at precisely the moment when the moon was full and a human's monarch died, and that strong Caslite managed to catch an entire epic, an exceptional marvel, spiraling with iridescent rainbows. Meanwhile, this tribe of Jewish people not only kept time, they also actually made time for the things that were truly important. They made time for community gatherings. They made time for family meals. They made time to discover new things and explore big questions. They made time to study great thinkers and dream up new ideas. They made time to listen to others and work for justice and freedom. They made time to witness and appreciate God's goodness. Still, there was so much wasted time that even with the meaningful moments the Jewish people made, the Caslites could not keep up with all the squandered hours. Time tumbled out of the Caslites' sanctums. The Caslites hardly wrapped one new find in tropical breezes and star rays when another wave on way would crest into their kingdom, spilling months and years all over the place. The Caslites became frenzied in their lust for time, greedily grabbing moments. They didn't realize that the weight of all this time was starting to change their realm. Their empire was sagging. The people below noticed that the sky was growing heavy and dark. The once welcome clouds had become thick and blocked the sun entirely. The people were cold and unafraid. The heavens began churning with ominous thunderheads. The people feared their time was over, and they began to weep. Despite this terrible impact of catching time, the Caslites could not stop hoarding each lost moment until one night when the moon was faint and the Caslites were wispy and weak, their cloud kingdom broke apart. All their treasures plunged to the earth and sea. The Caslites could not withstand the fall, and overnight their wispy forms blew away. The sky was clear, and their legion was no more. Time began to wash up on the shore. There were tiny instants and rocks of ages. The people knew they did not deserve this great gift of time they received from the heavens, and they didn't want to squander their chance to now use time more wisely. So they assembled a council to discuss how to protect their time so that it would not run out again. After deliberating for many weeks, well, they were still learning how to use time correctly after all,
The council decided that there should be a people tasked with keeping time, a trustworthy tribe in tune with the cycle of the moon and the changes of the seasons. And that's when they remembered the Jewish people, a people who sanctified time. So the Jews got to work. They collected the moments that were scattered across the land and lodged into the earth. They took shards of hours and timber of days, and they built a great palace of time. It was a beautiful palace of luminous, multifaceted, kaleidoscopic prisons of time that reflected the infinite heavens and the vivid, vibrant earth. Inside this palace, people discovered that time stood still, and they could freely take the time they needed to reflect on the lessons of the past, the possibilities of the future, and the wonder of the present. The Jewish people created portals to this palace of time that could be opened by anyone from anywhere in the world to refresh and renew and remember. Then the Jews gave this great palace a name. You know it. They called it Shabbat. And the Jewish people who had been entrusted with keeping time keep Shabbat to this day. And everyone who enters the palace shares something no Castlite ever experienced, a glimpse of eternity. Shabbat Shalom.
So this week, our attention has turned back to a terrible time, a time that we have no answers for. This happens too often that we can't explain humanity. It's unfathomable what happens. And as leaders in the community, or even just somebody watching on the news, you want to do something, say something that'll make a difference. So Nefesh Mountain, one of our favorite bands, they got together and they wrote a very powerful Tree of Life after the shooting at Tree of Life. And it reminded us that music can heal, bring people together, and begin to strengthen us to move forward to a better tomorrow. Sweet Spirit, hear my prayer. Help these words heal someone out there. I am but a voice, just a cry in the air, but I sing nonetheless in this pain we share. Sweet friends, come and dry your eyes and hold each other by this tree of life. I'm angry and tired of this great divide, but I sing nonetheless with love on our side. Sweet souls who feel broken now, we'll heal together somewhere, somehow. Time and again we have been let down, but we sing nonetheless, still whole and still proud. Sweet Spirit, hear my prayer. Help these words heal some We turn to page 586. Before we rise, a special introduction to Aleinu to remind us that it is on us to change the world. It's up to us to call ourselves to task, to sing what's good and true, to bring about redemption. It's what we were free to do. For what's the point of being here if we're not moved to change our ways? Aleinu lishabeach. It's time to live our praise. We are carrying the stories of the ones who came before. What stories will be told of us when we are here no more? We commit ourselves to action. It brings meaning to our days. Aleinu lishabeach. It's time to live our praise. It's up to us to own the vision. We are an answer to a call. It's up to us to live the words we speak for the benefit of all. It's up to us to bow down deeply. There's a broken world to raise. Aleinu lishabeach. It's time to live our praise. Aleinu lishabeach. It's time to live our praise. Va'anachnu horim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. We turn back to our live stream. If you are thinking of someone who is no longer with us, whether it is a recent death, Shloshim, Shana, the first year, or a Yortzeit, an anniversary of someone's death, or you are just thinking of them tonight, please submit their names in the chat at this time.
And so we say Kaddish for Elaine Harris, Adair Joy Klein, Dick Hyman, Doris Munich. And we recall the Yortzeits of Caroline Acosta, Bernard Adler, Brian Barsky, Edith Bernstein, Ida Birnbaum, Helen Bosick, George Brender, Alan Brown, Georgie B. Cooper, Gertrude DeStefano, Caroline DeWald, Judith Fisher, Jack Friedkin, Gilbert Jeffrey, David Hirsch, David Cantor, Kenneth Karen, Glenn David Castlehout, Eugene Kirschbaum, Benjamin Kishner, Jose Lugo, Edith Margone, Dorothy McDougall, Leo Rakoff, Maureen Sablé, Evelyn Siegel, Sam Simon, Carol Spector, Howard Strong, Phyllis Tuck, Judith Wickler, and Sydney Wickler. If you'd like to say the name of someone who was not mentioned for Kaddish, Yortzeit, or Shloshim, please stand and say the name.
Joel Berg.
We turn to 598 as we join together in our Kaddish prayer. Please rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, b'agalab izman kari v'imru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam Omei Amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekusha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechemata. Damiram b'yama v'yimru amen. Yehi shlom araba min shamayim v'chayim. Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. O say shalom b'mramav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen. May be seated. All right, do we have any religious school kids? Come on up for Kiddush and Motzi, come on.
Of all ages.
All ages.
All ages, from teeny to not teeny. Want to thank Barbara
Zane.
again for her beautiful accompaniment tonight for our services. Also, a big thank you to Alex for sound and Cindy and Dell on the bema. We're going to pre-thank you to Jolie for joining with us for a special discussion after services. All the big thank yous. So as I look out in the congregation, I see faces that I've been seeing now all summer, but like I haven't gotten to know. So please stick around and say hello so we can get to know you. I see people that are sitting alone. That's not a thing here at CNT. So please make sure that you say hello to somebody that maybe you haven't seen before, haven't seen in a long time. And it's wonderful to see some faces we haven't seen in a while. For whatever reason you're here at Yortzeit, or you just were feeling like it's been a summer without services and you needed to come back before school started. We are so glad to see you, and we hope to see more of you. And just one more reminder about Greatest Hits Shabbat. Don't miss it, because the whole band's going to be back. We're even bringing Tracy back, and we're going to have a really fun Greatest Hits Shabbat service, as well as all the other services this month are going to have some pretty great content and onegs, so you won't want to miss them. Final song, Olam Chesed Yibane, on the same theme of love. We will fill this world with love. Olam Chesed Yibane, Yalai, Lai, Lai, Yalai, Lai. Olam Chesed Yibane, Yalai. Words. Olam Chesed Yibane. Olam Chesed Yibane. Yavlai, lai, lai, yavlai, lai. Olam Chesed Yibane. Yavlai, lai, lai, yavlai, lai. I must fill this world with love. I must fill this world with love. Yalai, lai, lai, yalai, lai. And you must fill this world with love. Yalai, lai, lai, yalai, lai. And if we fill this world with love, yalai, lai, lai, yalai, lai. And if we fill this world with love, yalai, lai, yalai, yalai, lai. And if we fill this world with love, yalai, lai, yalai, yalai, lai. And if we fill this world with love, yalai, lai, yalai, yalai, lai. And if we fill this world with love, yalai, lai, lai, yalai, yalai, lai. And if we fill this world with love, yalai, lai, yalai, yalai, lai. And if we fill this world with love, yalai, lai, yalai, yalai, lai. And if we fill this world with love, yalai, lai, yalai, yalai, lai. And if we fill this world with love, yalai, lai, yalai, yalai, lai. And if we fill this world with love, yalai, lai, yalai, yalai, lai. And if we fill this world with love, yalai, lai, yalai, yalai, lai. And if we fill this world with love, yalai, lai, yalai, yalai, lai. And if we fill this world with love, yalai, lai, yalai, yalai, lai. And if we fill this world with love, yalai, lai, yalai, y God will fill. Then God will fill this world with love. Ya la la, la la, ya la la, la.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We'll see you in the Oneg Shabbat and then on into the discussion. Good Shabbos, everyone.